Everybody, here we are. If I am here and you are here, then here we are all together to talk about the weather. Guys, this show, I'm calling it Through Earth's Eyes, and the reason for that is because I want to take a look at what's going on around the world, basically on a daily basis here. There's a lot of really great government resources, some other more private sources that have real-time weather maps and data very easily and readily available. Unfortunately, they're all kind of compartmentalized through different departments. So I have been starting to keep up with each of these, and I figure since I'm doing it, I might as well make a video out of it so you guys can kind of follow along with me. And we're just going to take a look at what's going on our planet. We have a couple different sections we're going to do. We're going to do some earthquake, seismic activity. Sometimes we're going to look at volcanoes here. A little bit of space weather, not too much of that. And then just get into our real meat and potatoes of the actual weather, what's going on outside. When you wake up in the morning, is it snowy, hot, what have you? So to start out here, we are looking at the USGS, the U.S. Geological Survey, and we're looking at the seismic activity spread out throughout the planet. Quakes of note here. Got a 4.4 in Bolivia, 2.9 in Kansas, 5.2 in Vanuatu. Vanuatu is down here in this highlighted blue area right here. They've had some really deep, big earthquakes lately. Looks like a couple fours, Pacific Northwest, right at the top of Cascadia. There's our Bolivia. Now, guys, this one is a website that I personally am interested in. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest. Up there, for many of you, you may have read the New Yorker that came out a few years ago about the mega quakes that this can produce. The Cascadia subduction zone is known to have produced a 9.0 earthquake right up here in the Nia Bay area where my little mouse is up here. That was in January of the year 1700, before this really became part of the United States. Quite a while before that. So what's happening in here is this is the plate basically grinding under our plate. The Pacific plate over here, North American plate here. This plate is going under that plate. That creates these mountains right here, the Sierra Nevadas, which is a little different, but the Cascades in this area here is called the Cascadia subduction zone. And so as it's grinding under, this is kind of rolling up a little, and it's like you're winding a catapult. And so if you see a big swarm somewhere, you might get a little compensation out here of a 3 or 4, something small. And then you'll see it move somewhere else. So this is the last 48 hours. Then we go to the last 24 hours, and you kind of see it dying out a little bit. Last 3 hours, mostly up here in Vancouver, spread out down here. Going over to space weather. This is from NOAA. It is the planetary K-index scale. It's basically your solar weather, what's coming from the sun. Is it intense? Is it calm? Is there a storm? Are we going to get fried? None of that's going to happen. But anything here in the green is just normal solar activity. Maybe a little blip in the radar kind of bumps us up for a little bit here. Sometimes we get down to 0, which is a whole thing of its own, but it's basically the minimum solar intensity that we can experience on Earth. These are taken in 3-hour increments in stations throughout the world and compiled in Boulder, Colorado, USA, right up the road from me. And they publish it throughout the day, and you can see the fluctuations in the intensity of the sun today. Now here is today's Arctic ice sheet cover. Now mind you, this is all sea ice. This isn't just the ice caps or snow or anything like that. This is areas of open water that the surface has frozen. So the ice sheet itself looks like it goes down, well, further south than Iceland down here. Looks like they might even be picking up a little bit over here in northwestern Iceland. All over Hudson Bay over here. That's all iced over. Got a little bit coming up here into as far south as Canada of sea ice. So that looks like a lot. I'm not too sure how much is a lot, how much is very little, but what we're here to do is see what it is today. There's a lot of ice. We can do the same thing going to the South Pole. Actually, before I do that real quick, there's graphs on here too that show what we're at now, the trends we're having and now in comparison with previous years. So let's see here. The median one from 1981 to 2010 is this gray area, so it would make sense. That's pretty consistent. A nice little arc. Dash line is 2012, 2013. Okay, so we're kind of following that pretty close. If we're the blue one right here, a little under last year's or 2012's, 7 years ago now. And looking at the South Pole, looks like we are below average there too. If it was the green line in 2017, 2018 last year, and this year, we are right there. And normally it's up here. So it looks like it is a little bit less than normal. Well, it does fluctuate, so we'll watch and see. Looking at the weather of the world. We could start out here with the United States. We're going to zoom out a little bit here. You see a major front coming in here. Looks like it's going to hit maybe off the coast of Oregon right there. That looks like the nor'easter they must be talking about coming down in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big storm systems around the planet right now. Yep, that's a lot of activity. Looking at our snowfall estimation for the next few days here. This is the global snowfall forecast. It is basically showing us how much snow accumulated on the ground we can expect by certain dates. So we're going to get this playing here. Sometimes it takes a minute to get going here. So looking at it, you see where my mouse is, it says the day. That's Thursday, tomorrow, Friday, the next day, that's Saturday, Sunday. So out to Sunday we're watching. So this is the snow that we're having right now. And this polar vortex that just split, it's kind of in the news a little bit. You'll see it combining with those storms that we've been seeing on windy maps, the last website we were at. So there it is, folks. Looks like we have some winter weather ahead of us. And guys, in future articles or videos here that we do, we're gonna try to look at some news sites that are showing, the impacts of what we're watching here on the weather. This video is just designed to be 5-10 minutes of your day, maybe on a break somewhere, and just catch up and kind of have a good idea what's going on around the world. Things are changing. All right, be safe, everyone.